Now this question is an important question. It's a question which is asked in one of the JEE exams. Is it okay? JEE. So what is told in the problem is this particular system of linear equations is consistent. Consistent means it should have a solution. So whenever it should have a solution, there can be a unique solution for which the value of the determinant is not equal to 0. Then you will get a solution which is in the form x is equal to a inverse into b. Is it right? Then the solution will be of this form. Now if the question should have infinite solutions, then delta should be equal to 0 and adjoint of a into b also should become equal to 0. Then you will get infinite solutions. Now the question is asking you to calculate what is the value of alpha. Alpha equal to what is the question asked. So obviously I cannot make use of not equal to, then I have to go by this part now. So I'll make use of the concept called delta is equal to 0. So I can say here alpha plus 1 the whole cube, okay, alpha plus 2 the whole cube, and here minus of alpha plus 3 the whole cube. Is it right? Similarly here alpha plus 1 and then here it is 1. So then alpha plus 2 and then it is 1 and minus of alpha plus 3 and it is minus 1. Is it okay? Minus 1, this part will become equal to 0. This part will become equal to 0. So my intention is to make the maximum number of elements 0. So what we'll do? We'll form C1 forms C1 plus C3. Here we can do C1 forms C1 plus C3 and C2 forms C1 minus C3 and C2 forms C2 plus C3. Is it okay? C2 plus C3. C1 forms C1 minus C3. So this value will become equal to 0. C1 plus C3 only, right? C1 plus C3. And this part also here C2 plus C3. So what we can write here? We can write here, this is nothing but determinant of C1 plus C3. So alpha plus 1 the whole cube minus of alpha plus 3 the whole cube. Is it okay? Alpha plus 1 minus of alpha plus 3 and then 1 minus 1. Is it correct when you add 1 minus 1? Similarly here alpha plus 2 the whole cube minus of alpha plus 3 the whole cube. Similarly alpha plus 2 minus of alpha plus 3 and this part 1 minus 1 and then here it is nothing but minus of alpha plus 3 the whole cube minus of alpha plus 3 and this is 1. Is it okay? This is 1. This should become equal to 0. So we'll move on to simplify. So what is the formula for a plus b the whole cube? A plus b the whole cube can be written as a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square. Is it right? 3ab square. So I can say alpha cube plus 1 plus 3 alpha square plus 3 alpha. Is it right? Plus 3 alpha. Minus alpha cube minus 27 minus 3 3s are 9 alpha square minus of 27 alpha. Similarly here this part will be alpha plus 1 minus alpha minus 3 and this part would be 0. Similarly here alpha plus 2 minus alpha minus 3 and this part would be 0 and here it is minus of alpha plus 3 the whole cube. Here what do we get now? Here we will get, drop this part here. So we'll get here alpha cube plus 8, 3 2s are 6 alpha square, 3 4s are 12 alpha. Is it right? 12 alpha minus of alpha cube minus 27 minus 9 alpha square minus 27 alpha. Is it okay? 27 alpha. So then minus of alpha plus 3 the whole cube minus of alpha plus 3 minus of alpha plus 3 and then 1. This value is equal to 0. Is it right? So we'll simplify this. Plus alpha and minus alpha will get cancelled here. Alpha cube and alpha cube will get cancelled. 3 alpha square minus 9 alpha square. We'll simplify this. Alpha cube and alpha cube will get cancelled. So here it is minus 28 minus 6 alpha square minus 6 alpha square minus 24 alpha six alpha square minus 24 alpha minus 26 and then minus 2 0. Is it okay? Minus 2 0. Then minus 1 0 and this value will be alpha cube and alpha cube will get cancelled. So minus 15 here. 8 minus 27 will be minus 15. Minus 19. Is it okay? Then alpha cube and alpha cube will get cancelled. Six alpha square minus 9 alpha square is minus 3 alpha square, and then 12 alpha minus 27 alpha is minus 15 alpha. Minus 15 alpha minus 19. Yes. So, and this part will be minus of alpha plus 3 the whole cube minus of alpha plus 3 and 1. This value is equal to 0. Is it okay? Now you expand along the column 3. When you expand along column 3, what is that answer that you get? Expand along C3. You will get the answer as a 1 into leave the row and column containing 1. So you'll get here 6 alpha square plus 24 alpha plus 26. Plus 2 into minus 3 alpha square minus 15 alpha minus 19, that is equal to 0. So 6 alpha square plus 24 alpha plus 26 minus 6 alpha square minus 30 alpha minus 38, that is equal to 0. 6 alpha square and 6 alpha square will get cancelled. Minus 6 alpha minus 12 is equal to 0. So 6 alpha is equal to minus 6 alpha is equal to 12. Alpha is equal to minus 2 is the answer to the question, which corresponds to the option number D. This is an important question.